We're on the Malenko by Paget's Motorcycles. Honda is Dean Harrison. Drags the legs behind to keep the bike stable, and away he is on the Silicone Engineering Kawasaki. But we do have a gap at 3 and a gap at 4 with that withdrawal of Honda Racing's Ian Hutchinson. So next away will be the Quattro Plant Wicked Coatings Kawasaki of James Hillier. The revs are going up. The revs are going up. He waits to see the flag drop. It does now for him. Let's hear him away. Next, number 6, Michael Dunlop on his own racing team's BMW. Takes that line to the scoreboard. It's so distinctive, Michael Dunlop, that start. 7 is Gary Johnson on the RAF Regular and Reserves Kawasaki. 8, Michael Rutter, Batham's Racing Beamer. 9, David Johnson, Honda Racing. And now the Smiths Racing BMW of Peter Hickman. And away smoothly indeed is Peter Hickman. Ashcourt Racing's BMW of Lee Johnston. Gears changing in the distance there. Gap at 12 to 13 is Sam West, another BMW. Away he goes. Couple of little hops of the front wheel, but he's away. And next it's 14, Philip Crow. Now a man many fancy, particularly later, Prez Racing Yamaha of Jamie Coward. Definitely a contender in the lightweight. Can he be in this Superstock? Burroughs Engineering, Derek Shields. Suzuki Power away. 17 is Sean Anderson. NW Racing. And another BMW, Pens13.com for Davey Todd. A gap at 19, so next it's the Davies Motorsport Kawasaki of Dominic Herbertson. Underneath that Monster Energy arch. Waiting, and away he goes. Let's hear him away, drags his feet behind. Onto the pegs and away. So the first of the unseeded riders is number 23, and that is Stefano Benetti, the Italian on the Speed Motor BMW. Should be 22, Brian McCormack, away next. Indeed it is. And a third BMW in a row will be number 26, Rob Hodson. 38 miles per hour in that short distance between the start line and the timing beam. And that is 67, Jay Lawrence, who's had an outstanding first TT so far, safely away. Number 50, David Jackson, likewise going well. And next away will be number 25, Michael Sweeney. Sweeney's away, so let's go out to Dave Christian at Glen Helen.
Yes, thanks, Tim. Eagerly awaiting the arrival of the first man on the road. Should be the big fella. Blake flashes out of Glen Helen, one into the left-hander. It is Connor, and he gets on the power and makes his climb up towards Sarah's Cottage. But Dean Harrison looks like he's closed him down. He has indeed. Dean Harrison taken quite a few seconds out of Connor there. And Harrison leads Cummins at Glen Helen in the very early stage of this race by 3.5 seconds, but I'm sure that's going to change very, very shortly. James Hillier, the next man on the road, will be bearing his way up here from Laurel Bank in and around the Black Dove, Glenmore, before coming out of Glen Helen 1, a long sweeping left-hander, and here he comes, flick to the right, stands it up, gets it on the anchors. and then puts the power on to make the climb up towards Sarah's Cottage. And James Hillier does indeed go ahead of Cummins, a little bit quicker, but this is a quick approach as well. That's Michael Dunlop. Michael Dunlop goes quicker than Cummins as well, and he's just he's less than a tenth of a second back on James Hillier. So Michael Dunlop very, very much in this race. It's number 7, Gary Johnson. Drops into provisionally 5th place behind Cummins. The next man looks like he might be catching. He is indeed. Michael Rutter is eating into Gary Johnson's starting advantage, and Rutter now goes into 4th place. Next machine into the left-hander. That is number 9, Davo Johnson, but he's being caught by Peter Hickman, and Peter Hickman sets a blistering first sector. Peter Hickman goes to the top of the pile. That's number 10, Peter Hickman. He leads number 2, Dean Harrison, so it's a Harrison, Hickman, Hillier again, 1, 2, 3. Hickman leads Dean Harrison by 1.6 seconds at Glen Helen on lap 1. And the next machine into the left-hander, that's Lee Johnston. She pops a little bit as he gets that power on, and Lee Johnston doesn't make it inside the top 5, holding 9th position so far. But it's Hickman leading Harrison on the opening lap. Michael Dunlop as well. We're watching his times in the qualifying lap. He was pretty sharp this morning. 13 is through now. Sam West just pops ahead of Lee Johnson on corrected time. But watching, we did a sector-by-sector comparison between Michael Dunlop and Dean Harrison, and Michael Dunlop is there and thereabouts. That Superstock working well this morning. 14 is Phil Crow, 15 Jamie Coward. Jamie Coward makes a big move there. He is caught Phil Crow on the road. Hasn't quite got past him yet, but Jamie Coward breaks into the top 10. 9th place now for Jamie Coward. So still no change at the top of the pile. As the next machine comes through, that is number, was that? Do I see? That was Sam West, was it? No, Phil. Sean Anderson, apologies, Sean Anderson. Sean Anderson through, as was Jamie Coward. And who else have we got come through there? No, we're all clear now. Phil Crow is the last of those through. Sean Anderson, number 17, into 13th place. Cummins breaks the beam at Ballaugh Bridge. Harrison breaks the beam at Ballaugh Bridge. So Cummins and Harrison both through Ballaugh now. The difference between number 2 and number 1 up to 6 seconds on adjusted time. Number 20 comes through here. That's number 20, Dom Herbertson. And 23, Stefano Benetti. So Benetti through on his opening lap and inside the top 15. And Dunlop is, it's just a tenth of less than a hundredth of a second. Connor Cummins into 3rd place now at Ballaugh, with Dean Harrison and James Hillier both in front of him on adjusted time. But that Michael Dunlop, James Hillier battle is going to be very, very close. In fact, it is very close indeed. Michael Dunlop got the hammer down now. He moves into 2nd place. Provisionally, though, we are awaiting the arrival of number 10, Peter Hickman at Ballaugh. But Michael Dunlop ahead now of James Hillier by 1.6 seconds. Dunlop, as I say, did look in pretty good tune this morning, and not too much in the sector times. Michael Rutter now through Ballaugh. Rutter 5th place at the moment, but still awaiting number 10, Peter Hickman, as Michael Sweeney and Rob Hudson both come through here. Peter Hickman now at Ballaugh Bridge. Hickman leads number 2, Dean Harrison, by 2 seconds at Ballaugh. In 3rd place, Michael Dunlop. He is 3.7 seconds down on Harrison. James Hillier drops to 4th. Number 5, James Hillier into 4th place. He's 1.6 seconds down on Dunlop. And making up your top 5, it's number 1, Connor Cummins. He's just 1 second back on James Hillier. So Cummins got only a 1 second gap to Hillier. Great opportunity for him to steal a place, but at the top it's still Hickman. Hickman now extends his lead. It was 1.6 seconds here at Glen Helen. It's 2.3 at Ballaugh Bridge. So he's extended that by another, 3/4 of a second there and thereabouts. And Peter Hickman looks unstoppable this afternoon. He leads at Ballaugh Bridge on lap 1 of this 3-lap race. Leads Dean Harrison by 2 seconds. Michael Dunlop, number 6, up to 3rd. Back to you at the grandstand.
And I can tell you the aforementioned Michael Dunlop, quickest at Sulby so far at 190.6 miles per hour. We are looking as if we're heading with this Peter Hickman lap for a roundabout from a standing start, a 131.5 mile an hour lap. But they are going to have to scrub the speed off because they have to come in and do a pit stop at the end of this opening lap. No retirements to tell you about, but one additional non-starter is number 28, Daniel Cooper. Dan Cooper, a non-starter, as the last of our entry gets away here at the grandstand, and all the street furniture now, Timothy Monod is safely away. The street furniture, the start paraphernalia will all be put away, and will open up the road for them to complete this first lap. A lot of people to move, but they're still making it, of course, just to Ramsey, so they've got over all the mountain to go. Let's go out to Ramsey hairpin, Roy Moore.
Yeah, brilliant sunshine here at Ramsey, and the excitement of as they went through Ballaugh Bridge. Who's going to be first on the road into Ramsey? It's still Connor Cummins, but Dean Harrison right behind him. Will he let him through? He's going to try it on the outside, but no, he just has a quick look over his shoulder, but Dean Harrison sweeps out to the left-hand side, and I think he will probably get him before the first of the waterworks, so he's probably aware that there's a 2-second difference between him and Peter Hickman as they went through Ramsey here, but at the moment it's 9. Let's just do a comparison. Well, we can't really do anything really because it's 9 seconds, and that will be now the 10 seconds as Dean Harrison passed, I would suggest, Connor Cummins on the run up to waterworks. They'll be out into the brilliant sunshine, but in there's James Hillier now. Down through the box, tight to the inside, trying, just has a quick look on the left, and he will see Michael Dunlop. Michael Dunlop now, he's 4 seconds down on Dean Harrison. It was 3, so although he went through the Sulby speed trap and all that speed, but the bike sounds good going away from Ramsey here, but Michael Dunlop dropped a further second on Dean Harrison, but it's all on that number 10 machine. Here's number 7 now, Gary Johnson. He's safely through Ramsey as well. There's not much covering the bottom 5, and this Michael Rutter, he's made it up here to Ramsey as well. And then another very, very fast approach, and that is Peter Hickman. And Hickman leads by 4 seconds here at Ramsey. There's number 9, David Johnson. He's gone through, but it's a 4-second lead. 3.978 is the correct. So 4 seconds the lead for number 10, Peter Hickman here at Ramsey. Over in second place, number 2, Dean Harrison, who in turn is 5 seconds ahead of in third. Number 6, Michael Dunlop. Michael Dunlop in turn is only 3 seconds ahead of in fourth place number 5, James Hillier, who in turn is only 1.5 seconds ahead of in fifth place number 1, Connor Cummins. Connor Cummins is just a fraction of a second ahead of in sixth place number 9. Number 9 there, that being David Johnson. 7th for Michael Rutter, a second down on David Johnson. 8th for Gary Johnson, he's 2 seconds down on Michael Rutter. That was Lee Johnston you heard going through in the background. And 9th place for 13, Sam West. So that's him with us here now. Takes it tight to the inside. Gets the power on. Jamie Coward moving up the leaderboard there here. He's broken the beam down there as well and holding on to 9th place. 6 seconds down on Gary Johnson, but 6 seconds ahead of Sam West. Last machine to go through, I think, is number 14, Phil Crow. So they're all safely through, making the mountain climb. But with the news from Ramsey, it's not been this far apart in the other previous races, but it's Peter Hickman who's at the top of the pile, 4 seconds ahead of Dean Harrison. 2 more machines now. Number 17, I think Sean Anderson is the third of these to go through, and ahead of them was Davy Todd. Davy Todd, number 18, was there. Jamie Coward, 15. We've already had Sam West through. 17, Sean Anderson, and 14, and Dean Harrison and Connor Cummins have made the mountain climb to the bungalow. That is the situation at the bungalow. They both made it. It would appear from when the lights went on that Dean Harrison, as we suggested, has taken the lead on the road, so nobody in front of him now, and certainly can set his own pace. But how hectic is this going to be in down there in the pits? Another machine comes into view now. I think that's Dominic Herbertson. Stefano Benetti is going quite well too, and he's with us here now, 23. Tight to the inside, and then right behind him, and the boys are getting some lead on now, and it is number 22, Brian McCormick, who moves up into 11th place, 3 seconds behind Jamie Coward, and only 3 seconds ahead of in 12th place Sam West. So Ramsey hairpin, it's Peter Hickman from Dean Harrison, Michael Dunlop 3rd, James Hillier 4th, Connor Cummins 5th, David Johnson 6th, Michael Rutter 7th, Gary Johnson 8th, Davey Todd 9th, Jamie Coward 10th, Brian McCormick 11th, 12th Sam West, 13th Lee Johnston, 14th Sean Anderson, 15th Stefano Bonetti. Peter Hickman goes through the bungalow and has increased his in lead by 4 seconds. It is now up to 7 seconds, the lead for number 10, Peter Hickman, as they went through the bungalow. Dean Harrison just 4 seconds ahead of in 3rd place Michael Dunlop. They're heading for pit lane, back to the grandstand.
Well, we keep saying it, don't we? Hickman territory is definitely up on the mountain, and an outstanding opening lap, considering it's a standing start. Andy's going to have to slow down to come into the pits, but I think we're going to see something well into 130s, Chris Boyd, aren't we? Is that the case?
132s, I suspect. We're on about a 132.3 pace at the moment to the bungalow. Absolutely incredible, and he's pulled 3.2 seconds out of Dean Harrison just on the climb of the mountain. Hickman is absolutely the mountain specialist on the TT course.
Well, we are waiting for the light to come on at Cronknamona. While we do, I can tell you number 65, Jim Hodson, has retired at Ballacrane and is returning on open roads. And 2 bikes are now at Cronknamona, and definitely leading on the road is Dean Harrison, number 2. He's 11.3 ahead of number 1, Connor Cummins. So that's an increasing gap as well. Connor trying to get a little bit of a toe round, but Dean trying to break away so he doesn't get involved in a one-on-one scrap with another rider, which could eventually slow him down. So he will want to make the break on Connor Cummins as the lights are on for 1 and 2, the only ones that have made it so far to Cronknamona. I suspect we're going to see Hillier, the next one there, but Dean Harrison coming out of that little greasy area which isn't used as a road. It's just down there in the Governor's Dip, but he'll be on to Glencrutchy Road. And of course the klaxon sounds, the compulsory stop. So we'll just see him across the line and give you the leaderboard, and we'll go straight down to Chris Kinley. There's Connor Cummins just behind, 130.877 miles per hour there from Dean Harrison. Down to Chris Kinley.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. Dean Harrison in, Connor Cummins both in for their pit stops there in the far end, the left-hand side as you look on course direction, and Hickman through Cronknamona. The lead is up to 8.528 of a second. Hickman, number 10, leads Dean Harrison through Cronknamona, 8.528 of a second, and it's Michael Dunlop in 3rd place at the moment, 4.5 back, and then James Hillier through Cronknamona. These are 5.8, so there looks like Dean's away quickly. Just a quick 1 lap compulsory pit stop. Dean's away. He's still ahead of Connor on the road. The klaxon goes. Here's number 5. Here's Hillier in, provisionally in 3rd across the line, but that's going to change. Here's Hillier in now, and there's Michael Dunlop, 2nd place at the moment, 4.2. Michael has actually got 0.3 of a second up on Dean Harrison when they came through the grandstand, the Cronknamona. Michael's got 0.03 of a second back on Dean Harrison, so these pit stops are going to be all important. The klaxon goes
this
one more
Hickman,
time.
Chris Kinley. This is Hickman.
Here's Hickman. He's going to be going across the line any moment now, across the beam. And what is the gap when Hickman comes across? Well, it's 9 seconds, 9.026.
132.
Well, that's good. 132 and a bit for Hickman. There's Michael Rutter in. There's Gary Johnson in. As more riders continue to lead Michael Dunlop in and out of the pits. Let's have a little look at those pit times for you.
Chris,
yeah, go ahead.
James Hillier has a 30-second penalty for speeding. 30 seconds for James Hillier, number 5.
Hickman's been in for 25, 26, 27 seconds, 28, 29, 30. He gets the push to go. Harrison was 36.3. Michael Dunlop 38.8. Connor Cummins 38.2 in the pit stop. Rutter's in and out 35. So let's see what Hickman did on the pit stop. Hickman was 2 seconds slower, 2.5 seconds slower than Dean Harrison. Michael Dunlop was about the quickest so far. Let's have a little look. 35.02 for David Johnson in the pits. 35 seconds for the Honda team, so that is pretty good there. 39 seconds for Rutter, 39 seconds for Gary Johnson, and 36 seconds for James Hillier. So you leaderboard into the pits. Hickman by about 9 and a bit seconds from Dean Harrison. Michael Dunlop third, 4.22, and then we've got James Hillier in fourth place, number 5. Then David Johnson, Connor Cummins, Michael Rutter, Gary Johnson and Lee Johnson. Got some lap times, Tim.
Yeah, so it's about 6.5 seconds going out of the pits that we make that Hickman now leads Harrison, so a reduced margin. Well, in terms of the racing we've seen today, 6.5 seconds seems like an awfully big margin, but 132.025 miles per hour it was for Peter Hickman. 17 minutes, 8.806 seconds at the time for that opening lap. That's from a standing start and slowing down to come into pit lane. The only flying lap, of course, will be the third and final lap, and we're just going to get a quick look at some of the pit stop times. David Johnston 35 seconds, Hillier 36, but of course a 30-second penalty. Harrison 36, down to Chris Kinley.
Yeah, some action in here in pit lane, Tim. We've got Davey Todd at the moment. Sam West is just about to leave too. I think that just ahead of there was Jamie Coward. Yeah, you can hear the R1 jumping up onto the pike, and there's Derek Shields in. Shieldsy, number 816, is currently holding to 14th place at the moment. Sean Anderson also has been in for his compulsory pit stop. Sean, riding number 17, he's in 12th position, and Davey Todd putting a good performance, 9th place across the line, just ahead, just behind Gary Johnson, and just ahead of Jamie Coward. Look at the time, 9:13, there's 19, there's 21, there's 29, there's 30, 36 seconds I'd say covers the top 10 in this RL360 Superstock race, as Sean Anderson in and out, Dominic Herbertson in, 22, big Brian McCormack also in, and Stefano Bonetti, where does Stefano slot in? He's in around 15th place, but that is quite incredible if you add all the numbers up, and the top 10, Tim, there's not much between them all.
Very, very little indeed. It is quite extraordinary. The longest pit stops were actually Rutter and Gary Johnson. And Sean Anderson just had a little bit of an issue getting his bike fired up, but eventually did, but will have lost time just there as he was paddling a little bit through pit lane. More action down below, Chris.
Yeah, Stefano Bonetti just comes out, but I think Brian McCormack and Dominic Herbertson nearly had a bit of a come together. Jay Lawrence is in, number 67. He's gone really, really well, Jay, as he slots into 15th position for Jay Lawrence. Absolutely stunning. Let's not miss Dave Christian, Glen Helen.
Yes, thanks, Chris. Just in time is Dean Harrison. Shuts off a little bit late, but drifts wide on the exit as well, but he's safely through and powering his way up towards Cronkabody. Connor's in just behind him now, the gap ever increasing. The gap between Harrison and Cummins now 17 seconds. But it is the arrival of the rest of the field that's going to be important here. We should be seeing James Hillier next, although he's going to drop away. Just how far down the leaderboard he plummets will depend on everyone else, but 30-second penalty in pit lane isn't going to do him any favours at all. And it'll budge everyone up a little bit. As I hear the thunderous noise of a machine approaching, it is James Hillier. He cranks that into the left-hander. It's under the power nice and early, but the next man is already here. That's Michael Dunlop. Michael Dunlop goes ahead of Hillier, as does Connor Cummins. And James Hillier, he's still got a few more riders yet because those gaps were very, very tight as they were coming into pit lane. It might have cost him 5 or 6 places or maybe a little bit more. But at the moment, it's Dean Harrison. We await the arrival, though, of Peter Hickman. And there is Hickman. Gets that lent over well into the corner. And Hickman leads Harrison now by 6 seconds. 5.8, we'll call that 6. As a whole heap pour through. Gary Johnson came through there, Michael Rutter and Davo Johnson. And they all pushed James Hillier down the pile. James Hillier suffering really from that pit stop. Hickman leads Dean Harrison by 6 seconds, 5.812. We'll call that 6. So number 10 leads number 2 by 6 seconds at Glen Helen on lap 2. Michael Dunlop in the 3rd place now for Michael Dunlop. He moves up after James Hillier's speeding penalty. Number 6, Michael Dunlop now in 3rd place. He is 11 seconds down on Dean Harrison. In fourth place at the moment, it's Davo Johnson. And we'll need, I think, we just better check on, I think, Davy Todd and Jamie Coward, who were both running well in the first lap. And Davy Todd, number 18, he started in 18th place. Obviously, and he was up to 9th place, I think, at the grandstand. So a great first lap from Davy Todd. And next machine now is coming up through the valley. A little flick to the left. It's Lee Johnston. He gets that wrestled in and down around the corner, and that's where James Hillier's dropped to now. 8th place, we think. 8th place for well, there's a couple more. Brian McCormack, I think, might just drop in, depending on how his pit stop's gone. Jamie Coward might just go in there yet. So perhaps a little bit more work there before we finally see how far James Hillier's plummeted. 2 more through there, 13 and 15. That's Jamie Coward and Sam West together on the road. And though they're still dropping in behind James Hillier, so that's about his level. 8th place, maybe a little bit worse. At Jamie Coward, just 2 seconds behind him now. There's Davy Todd. He goes ahead of Hillier. Yes, Davy Todd, number 18, up to 8th place now. James Hillier drops to 9th, and I think that's probably how it's going to pan out. But the leaders are now at Ballaugh Bridge. Dean Harrison, Connor Cummins, both through Ballaugh Bridge. And we're awaiting the arrival of the next man on the road, which will be James Hillier. And while we wait, we'll go back to Tim quickly at the grandstand.
Yeah, a couple of speeding penalties. Dominic Herbertson is a 30-second penalty, number 20, as does number 40, Horst Seiger. And Dean Harrison and Connor Cummins at Ballaugh Bridge. Dave Christian.
Yes, thanks, Tim. Dino, James Hillier just into Ballaugh Bridge now as well. So the leading 3 on the road, all there at Ballaugh. And Michael Dunlop now, he's through at Ballaugh too. And we're watching that gap. It was about 17.2 seconds between Hickman and Dunlop. Between Harrison and Dunlop, sorry. And, well, we still need Peter Hickman through as Stefano Benetti comes through here, and Brian McCormack. There's Peter Hickman at Ballaugh. The lead with Dean Harrison is now 6.8 seconds. We'll call that 7. So Hickman leads Harrison at Ballaugh by 6.8 seconds. In third place, Michael Dunlop, 13 seconds back on Dean Harrison. That's number 6, Dunlop at Ballaugh Bridge. He is 13 seconds now down on Dean Harrison. The gap between Harrison and Dunlop was 11 seconds here at Glen Helen, so it looks like Hickman and Harrison are pulling away from the field. Davo Johnson, the gap between him and Michael Dunlop is holding steady at 2.5 seconds. So it does look like Hickman and Harrison just starting to pull away. But James Hillier will be on a bit of a charge. He was fast. He was holding third position when he picked up that penalty. So he'll be looking to recover a little bit of ground and see how far back up he can get. 9th place he was at Glen Helen, so that's cost him 6 places, that pit lane penalty, and he'll want to claw some of that back. He was 10 seconds down on 8th place Davy Todd, so a little bit of work to do before he starts to get back into the podium places. But he's got about a lap and a half to do it, so a little bit of time to work with. It's still at Ballaugh Bridge on lap 2 of this 3-lap race. After the compulsory pit stops, Peter Hickman, number 10, leads Dean Harrison by 7 seconds. That's number 50, David Jackson, through here at Glen Helen. 2 more go through. Michael Sweeney was one of those, Rob Hudson the other, and they're safely through here on their second lap. But it is the big battle up front, Hickman and Harrison, as it seems to have been all week, even though we haven't had that much racing. It's just those 2, Hickman and Harrison. And it looks like Peter Hickman's got the drop on Dino in this one. That's number 40, Horst Seiger, through here. We'll take one more, that's 49, Ryan Neen. And we'll go straight over to Roy Moore at Ramsey Hairpin.
Yeah, Ramsey Hairpin, lap number 2, and just checking on those Ballaughs. Have you got there the extra second? But Dean Harrison has broken the beam down the road. Clear roads for him now, so Dean Harrison will be sweeping out of Stella Maris shortly. And here he is, down through the centre, gets the back end a bit loose going in, but certainly tight down to the inside, round the wall, and gets tucked in behind that bubble. And certainly Connor Cummins, 22 seconds now it is, so he's dropping well back now on that, but certainly still going well. Connor, he too just tips it over into the centre, round that that little piece of wall which has seen all kinds of history. We noticed Jim Gibson from Ellen Vannon Images getting some good shots over on the other side there with the brilliant sunshine, and certainly that has been the case here at Ramsey Hairpin. But certainly that is the only two, or they are the only two that have gone through. And what will be the difference now? It was 6.8 at Ballaugh Bridge, so what will it be here at Ramsey Hairpin? Michael Dunlop, I think, is the next we'll be expecting. No, James Hillier is there. I wonder, are they aware they've had a penalty? Be no way of signalling, I would think. Michael Dunlop, certainly he's through now, 14 seconds, so he's dropped a further second to Dean Harrison on the run to Ramsey, but Peter Hickman has broken the beam and will be with us, and he sweeps out Bruce Anstey style into Ramsey. Absolutely superb, smooth as anything. Whoa! Back end stood out there though, he was out of the seat. Just as he accelerated away, the back end came round, but he rectified it. Probably would have hit the little bank on the side there, but certainly he's through, and he's holding on to a 9-second advantage. So he's pipped out another 3 seconds on the run here to Ramsey. Peter Hickman leading here at Ramsey. Dean Harrison number 2 by 9 seconds. Third for number 6, Michael Dunlop, 14 seconds down on Dean Harrison. And then fourth for number 9, David Johnson. He's only 3.5 seconds down on Michael Dunlop. Fifth place for number 1, Connor Cummins, 4.5 seconds down on David Johnson. In sixth place, number 8, Michael Rutter. He's just not long gone through. He's 6.5 seconds down on Connor Cummins. And seventh place for number 7, also safely through round Ramsey Hairpin, but 13 seconds down on Michael Rutter, number 7, Gary Johnson. Completing our top 8 here is number 5, James Hillier, with that penalty. 7.824 seconds down on Gary Johnson. So a further 3 seconds pulled out on the run from Ballaugh Bridge here to Ramsey Hairpin by the race leader Peter Hickman, and that's after the fuel stop, and it will be a flying lap as they go through 132 from virtually a standing start. Unbelievable really, and just difficult to comprehend. More machines into Ramsey now. We're expecting this to be number 11, Lee Johnston, and it is certainly keeping it going anyway, so he must be happy with everything, but probably not too delighted with 9th place, but you can't take that win away from him, and riding the big bike well. Jamie Coward also due to be here very, very shortly indeed. Certainly that will be the case. We're expecting him to move up. Will he get ahead of James Hillier? No, he's 7 seconds behind James Hillier. It's a bit of an not quite an overshoot there, but a bit of a late braking manoeuvre by number 13, Sam West. Davy Todd, number 18, was the one that went through in between them. Dean Harrison and Connor Cummins have made the mountain climb. And there's another back end hanging out there off the machine as it comes in, and certainly that is number 18, Davy Todd. But it's justifiable because he's holding on to 8th position here. 4 seconds down on Gary Johnson in 7th, but only 3 seconds ahead off in 9th place, number 5, James Hillier. Jamie Coward then moves down to 10th, rider number 15. He's 7 seconds down on James Hillier. And 11th place for number 11, number 9, Lee Johnson, but he's 19 seconds down on Jamie Coward. And then it's Sam West, number 13, who was in 12th place, 3 seconds down on Lee Johnson. This should be Sean Anderson and Derek Shields, and that certainly is the case as they go through. Sean Anderson leading on the road there on Mavis, and well on his way up towards the waterworks. And Sam West, Dominic Herbertson, Peter Hickman has made it through the bungalow and is increasing his lead. He's pulled a further, would you believe, 4 seconds on that climb up to the bungalow. The lead for number 10, Peter Hickman, now is 13 seconds over number 2, Dean Harrison, who in turn holds a 14-second advantage over number 6, Michael Dunlop. In 4th place through the bungalow is number 9, David Johnson. 3.5 seconds down on Michael Dunlop. That puts Connor Cummins, number 1, into 5th place. 5.5 seconds down on David Johnson. In 6th place, number 8 through the bungalow, Michael Rutter. He's 6 seconds down on Connor Cummins. 7th for number 7, Gary Johnson. He's 17 seconds down on Michael Rutter. And through the bungalow, the last to go through there was number 5, James Hillier, holding on to 8th place. Just, I think, as he was at Ramsey Hairpin. But you've got to get Davy Todd through there. James Hillier 3.5 seconds down on Gary Johnson, but it's Hickman by 13 at the bungalow on lap 2. Back to the grandstand.
Dunlop and speeding penalty are breaking up the H's. Dean Harrison indicated now at Cronknamona, light on for number 2. 30-second penalties for 36, Mark Ironside. 34, Julian Trummer, and 42, Barry Ferber, all with 30-second penalties. Michael Dunlop was the fastest at the Sulby Speed Trap, just upped it to 191.2, so his own bike is certainly singing through the Sulby Straight there. Connor Cummins is now 24.3 seconds down, so Harrison has really made the break, because they've been pretty close racing between those two once they've caught each other on the road, but not anymore. Dean Harrison has made the break, but is there anything he can do about a flying Peter Hickman this afternoon? As we look up Glen Crutchy Road to see a blue Silicon Engineering bike emerge very shortly. Here he is, crosses the line now. And we go to the screen, 127.220, but that of course includes the pit stop that we had at the end, compulsory pit stop at the end of lap 1. Across the line there is Connor Cummins on the Mill & Co by Paget's Racing Honda, 23.795 seconds down. So Harrison 127.22, Connor Cummins 125.77, but of course they have now gone out on the one flying lap of this shortened RL360 Superstock TT. What are we going to see on that flying lap? But we will now be seeing James Hillier and Michael Dunlop come into view, and then it will be Peter Hickman. There's Hillier, there's Dunlop. So a little bit of traffic ahead for Peter Hickman. He's got Hillier and Dunlop immediately up the road, but we now wait for Hillier, and he's 16.5 seconds ahead. Hickman is from Harrison. The lead for Hickman, 16.5 seconds. And let's have a look at that, including the pit stop, 128.13 miles per hour, including that pit stop. So a dominant display so far from number 10, Peter Hickman. And he's looking to make it a hat-trick of victories at the 2019 Isle of Man TT races, fuelled by Monster Energy, and it would of course be a second win on the day. So Hickman through. Gary Johnson's just gone through at 124.10. Number 8, Michael Rutter on the BMW at 125.62. David Johnson, 126.54 miles per hour. But Peter Hickman, 128.13, including a pit stop. And that is 17 minutes 40 compared to the opening lap of, the best lap of 17.08 we've had on the opening lap there. So that was including, of course, the standing start and slowing down. So it's a fantastic performance so far from Peter Hickman. Light on for 15, 11 and 13 at Cronknamona. That's Jamie Coward, Lee Johnston and Sam West. They are in 9th, 10th and 11th. Although Davey Todd has now interrupted that. He's moved to 9th, Jamie Coward 10th, Lee Johnston 11th and Sam West in 12th. But we should see number 11, Lee Johnston, next interview here at the grandstand. I can hear a machine. Here it comes. It is Lee Johnston, crosses the line now. And not coming out. There we are, 121.95, so quite a little bit slower there for Lee Johnston than the other bikes we've seen through. There's Jamie Coward through now at 123.45. Jamie Coward slots into 9th, but of course we've got to wait for Davey Todd to come through, as Sam West crosses the line at 121.71. Across the line there is Davey Todd, and Davey Todd is 9th ahead of Jamie Coward. So Davey Todd is number 18, is in 9th position, 10th Jamie Coward, and 11th Lee Johnson. So it's Peter Hickman 16.5 seconds ahead of number 2 Dean Harrison, who in turn is 13.7 seconds ahead of number 6 Michael Dunlop. In 4th it's number 9 David Johnson, 3.2 seconds back, and a further 6.7 seconds back is number 1 Connor Cummins. Let's go to Glen Helen. Dave Christian.
Yes, thanks, Tim. First man on the road won't be too far away now. The crowd stirring along the bank down in front of us. We're hearing a little rumble of engine noise as they're coming up from Laurel Bank. I can definitely hear engine noise. It grows louder and louder, and here is Dean Harrison on his final lap. Smooth as you like, and very, very fast too. Kept the line a little bit tighter than he did at the end of lap 2. He drifted wide on the exit, probably trying to carry a little bit too much speed. Connor through behind him. That gap between Harrison and Cummins now 23 seconds, but that's inconsequential in terms of the race, because the big man that to watch out for are Peter Hickman and Michael Dunlop. They were holding podium positions at the grandstand. And the lead at the grandstand between the lead Hickman held over Harrison at the grandstand was 17 seconds, 16.576 if we're being accurate. And we'll see what he can pull back or pull out even between grandstand and here on the final lap. Here's James Hillier. He is on the charge after that pit lane penalty. He was down to 9th place. He's made 2 places up, but here's Michael Dunlop. Dunlop holds 2nd place at the minute, but Peter Hickman's not too far behind him, and Peter Hickman is extending his lead. It's the final lap of this 3-lap Superstock TT, and Peter Hickman, who has led pretty much from start to finish after an early dice with Dean Harrison, is now 18 seconds clear. So number 10, Peter Hickman, leads number 2, Dean Harrison, by 18 seconds. In 3rd place, it's number 6, Michael Dunlop, who is 17 seconds back on Harrison. Michael Rutter comes through now, and Davo Johnson together on the road, and they don't affect the top end of the leaderboard, where it is Hickman leading Harrison. Oh no, Davo Johnson sneaked ahead of Michael Dunlop there. That's number 9, Dave Johnson, moved into 3rd place now. Gone ahead of Michael Dunlop, so I don't know if Michael's had a problem of some sort, but he appears to have dropped a little bit of time there on the run out from the grandstand to here at Glen Helen. Connor Cummins, number 1, is in 5th position. He is just 6 seconds now behind Michael Dunlop. And Connor closing in then on Dunlop, and James Hillier making that charge. He is also, he's got a lot of work to do to catch Michael Rutter. He's in 7th, Rutter's in 6th, and the gap between the two is 21 seconds. But with Hillier running at pace at the front end, he could be capable of pulling that back on Rutter. But the story at Glen Helen on lap 3 is Peter Hickman leads Dean Harrison by 18 seconds. A little bit further down the field, one to watch out for, number 46, Paul Jordan. He started in 30th position. He is now up to 12th, or at least was at the end of the last lap. So number 46, Paul Jordan, massive charge from him. And Davey Todd as well, started in 18th. He was up to 9th at the end of the last lap, so he's gained the thick end of 10 places. Frenchman Xavier Denis, also number 56. He started 35th and is now running 18th. So great rides from those guys in the middle order of this field. Lee Johnston comes through though, and Dean Harrison just breaks the beam at Belaf Bridge. Dean Harrison now through Belaf Bridge as Lee Johnston comes through here, but he's a little bit off the pace. Currently 9th position, but will get shoved down a little bit further. Jamie Coward comes through, and Connor Cummins now through Belaf as well. Jamie Coward here at Glen Helen safely through on his final lap. Sam West not too far behind him on the road. And Sam West nudging into a top 10 there with just a 1/10 of a second between him and 10th place Lee Johnston. So a great ride from Sam West. Might just get a top 10 finish. But Davey Todd squeezes in there. Davey Todd now 8th place here at Glen Helen on the final lap. Just 5 seconds behind James Hillier on corrected time. So it's Harrison and Cummins through up Belaf, and next man through should be Hillier. He won't be too far away. There he is now. Pops up on the screen here to let me know that James Hillier through now at Belaf on his final lap. And also through Michael Dunlop. And it is Michael Dunlop, and Peter Hickman comes through now, and Hickman leads at Belaf. Hickman has extended his lead yet again. He is now 19.8 seconds clear of Dean Harrison. and coming up to the strongest part of his race, the mountain climb. So Belaf Bridge on lap 3 of this 3 laps RL360 Superstock TT. Peter Hickman leads Dean Harrison by 19.8 seconds at Belaf Bridge, with David Johnson in 3rd place, 18 seconds behind Dean Harrison. Back to you at the grandstand.
Yeah, well, if we wondered if there was anything wrong with Michael Dunlop, could simply have just been he came up against trying to get past somebody, because he dropped about 4 seconds between here and Glen Helen, but he's made up. It's only 0.114 that he's behind 3rd place David Johnson now at Belaf Bridge, but Peter Hickman 19.8 ahead. Some retirements. Raul Torres Martinez has retired at Brandywell Road. Philip Crow at Parliament Square, and Dean Osborne, we're told, came off at Appledene Corner but is okay. So good news there. So looking at the speeds, Peter Hickman has now gone quickest at Solby at 191.7. What sort of lap speed, very quickly, Chris, are we looking at?
132.2, and this shows the difference. That's a Belaf to Belaf time. Belaf to Belaf for Dean Harrison is 130.6, so over 1.5 miles an hour quicker on a lap.
That is incredible, isn't it? So Peter Hickman, 19.849 seconds ahead of number 2, Dean Harrison. He, in turn, is 18.2 seconds ahead of number 9, David Johnson. But there's a heck of a tussle between Johnson and Dunlop. 0.114 of a second between them. Connor Cummins is in 5th at the Belaf Bridge, 5.5 seconds back. And Rutter a further 6 seconds back in 6th, number 8. And then it's James Hillier. That 30-second penalty's really cost him. Let's go to Roy Moore at Ramsey Hairpin.
Yeah. Could it BMW, Kawasaki and Honda? Could that change to BMW, Kawasaki, BMW? Because that's where the interest is. But certainly at Ramsey, the beam has been broken by Dean Harrison. Down the road there, number 2, Dean Harrison is safely to Ramsey. And here he is, same exact line, down, back end, just going light a little bit, but tight to the inside. Crouched down over, has a quick look over onto the left-hand side. But he won't see anybody, because the next interview should be number 1, Connor Cummins. Here he is, Connor, down through the box, and again, same immaculate line. Brilliant sunshine there, catching the fairing of the machine as it goes away from Ramsey. 24, so it's a further 5 seconds. Would that be an indication that Dean Harrison has quickened up? But it'll all be incidental. But look at that battle between Michael Dunlop and David Johnson. David Johnson, who learned his craft on a 3-cylinder Triumph built by his father and certainly dominated all the proceedings there. And now here he is on battling for a podium at the TT on the Works Honda. So what will it be? It's Dean Harrison, who's 22 seconds down, because that's James Hillier through Ramsey. Tight to the inside. Sweeping out, though, is Peter Hickman, and he's got past Michael Dunlop on the road. So if he wanted a tow, if he tucks in behind him, we'll see it. 22 seconds, a further 3 seconds on the run from Belaf Bridge here to Ramsey Hairpin. Peter Hickman now over Dean Harrison. Michael Dunlop 18 seconds down on Dean Harrison. But we're looking out for David Johnson, number 9, who will be the next, in theory, to come through. But certainly that will be the case. Yeah, David Johnson through, but Michael Dunlop is ahead of him. Michael Dunlop, but only by half a second. Only half a second. There's David Johnson. He's got Michael Rutter behind him. Michael Rutter holding on to 6th. He's 6 seconds down on Connor Cummins. But Michael Dunlop has got back that 3rd position, that podium, on the run over the mountain still to go. He's 18 seconds down on Dean Harrison, who in turn is 22 seconds down on Peter Hickman. But there's only half a second. In 4th place, number 9, David Johnson, from in 3rd place, number 6, Michael Dunlop. There's Gary Johnson going through now. He's safely away. He's holding on to 8th place here at Ramsey. Just got to slot in there, I think, Davy Todd, to see whether that's been confirmed. So Davy Todd not yet as yet due to arrive here at Ramsey. So in 7th place at the moment, it's number 5, James Hillier, 20 seconds down on Michael Rutter. Within 8th place, number 7, Gary Johnson, who is 17 seconds down on James Hillier. but that battle of half a second, 0.449 of a second between number 9 David Johnson and number 6 Michael Dunlop is one that we'll be looking for as they go through the bungalow. None of them as yet made that climb up to the mountain bungalow. Stefano Vanetti going well in 14th place through Valaf, behind Lee Johnson, who's keeping going. And then Stefano Vanetti just ahead of Sean Anderson in 15th place as they went through Balaf. And then with that time penalty, number 20, Dominic Herbertson, 8 seconds down on Sean Anderson. But a good ride there from number 67, Jay Lawrence. He's in 18th place as they went through. But I can tell you that Dean Harrison has made the mountain climb to the bungalow. But here at Ramsey, it should be Lee Johnson. It is. Just foot on the left just comes off, but he's away and through. And this should be Jamie Coward. What is the battle there? Jamie Coward 6 seconds down on Gary Johnson. Jamie Coward in number 15 in 9th place, 6 seconds down on Gary Johnson. That puts the last machine to go through, number 13. Sam West is here with us now. He is holding on Jamie Coward in 10th place, number 15. Jamie Coward 6 seconds down on Gary Johnson. In 11th, number 13, Sam West, 31 seconds down on Jamie Coward. And 12th, number 11, it's Lee Johnston, who is only half a second down on Sam West. Connor Cummins has made the mountain climb successfully and is through the bungalow, as does James Hillier. And certainly next to come up there is Peter Hickman. It's just blown out now to 26.5 seconds. The lead for number 10, Peter Hickman, as they went through the bungalow. Leader, number 10, Peter Hickman, 26.5 seconds ahead of in second place, Dean Harrison, who in turn is 16 seconds ahead of current third place man up there. But remember, that's got to be rectified. In third place, number 6, Michael Dunlop, 16 seconds down on Dean Harrison. Fourth, number 1, Connor Cummins, 8 seconds down on Michael Dunlop. And then in fifth place, number 5, James Hillier, who is 26 seconds down on Connor Cummins. And David Johnson has gone through there. It's less than a second between him and Michael Dunlop. Michael Dunlop still holding on to that third place. But David Johnson, number 9, is only 0.964, less than a second down on Michael Dunlop. So that's going to go right to the end. Fifth for Connor Cummins, sixth for Michael Rutter, and seventh for James Hillier through the bungalow. But Peter Hickman, what a performance. We salute you. 26 seconds, the lead as they head down the mountain to the grandstand. Back to Tim.
Thank you very much, Roy. And, Peter Hickman is going to potentially double up on the same day and get a hat-trick at TT 2019, fueled by Monster Energy. Light is on for number 2 at Cronknamona. That, of course, is Dean Harrison, but 26.686 seconds is a fair advantage at the bungalow for Peter Hickman. Number 10 over number 2. Lucas Mora is going well, had a great duel across the line here with Charles Rees Hardesty, but 118.71 his best lap. But Connor Cummins now is indicated as well at Cronknamona, number 1, of course, on the Milenko by Padgett's racing bike, 24.3 down. But it's all about Hickman and Harrison again. Hickman, though, the dominant force in this race in all areas, but particularly, of course, on that mountain. But Dean Harrison should be coming into view very shortly on Glen Crutchley Road. I can see the checkered flag is being unveiled and unfurled, and Dean Harrison is going to get yet another second place at the TT races in 2019. There he is across the line. Well done to Dean Harrison. The applause rings out from the grandstand. 130.190. Peter Hickman, number 10, is at Cronknamona. Across the line there goes Connor Cummins, 23.198 behind Dean Harrison. So Harrison has finished. We've got to wait for Hickman to finish, though, as well. I think Hillier and Michael Dunlop are ahead. I think he's got ahead of Michael Dunlop on the road, but James Hillier will be into view, and so will Peter Hickman very, very shortly indeed. And Peter Hickman is about to make it 2 years in a row as the RL360 Superstock winner. There's Hillier across the line. We will wait Hickman to come across the line, and indeed Hickman does come across the line with his fist clenched just ahead of Michael Dunlop. He's got the hat-trick at the 2019 100th year edition, and he is a 5 times TT winner.